here's Ed Bernstein.
Hi, well, in today's show, we're going to talk about all the incredible events and things to do here in Las Vegas. A little bit later in the show, we're going to have Myron Martin, who runs the Smith Center, talk about all the, well, an incredible schedule that's coming this coming year, 2016, 2017, into Las Vegas. And right now, my friend Steve Stallworth, who runs the South Point Arena and Equestrian Center. You've done it all. I mean, you ran it at the Orleans, the Thomas and Mack, the Cox Center, whatever, Silver Bowl,
Sam Boyd Stadium,
Sam Boyd, whatever it was called. You know, and it's to do this in such a unique town is an especially a different kind of challenge. I mean, when you're the only venue in a city, it's easy to attract a business and attractions and shows, but when you're competing with so much going on in Las Vegas, it's got to be tough, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget the day, Ed, when Michael Gaughan called me. I was at the Thomas and Mack Center, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to build an arena at the Orleans." I said, "Mr. Gaughan, we need another arena in this town like we need a hole in our head. What are you doing here?" And but you know Michael Gaughan. He said, "Steve, we're going to have free parking. We're going to have $3 beers. We're going to have $1 hot dogs. We're going to do this for the community." And it was one of the greatest experiences that I ever had, Ed, which was wonderful. And then several years later, he moves over to the South Point, South Coast at the time, and we built an equestrian center. And for the last 8 years, Ed, we've just had a great run, and it's really been a great niche, not just for his hotel, our property, but for the city.
And we'll talk about the equestrian center and the rodeo and everything else that you guys have. But you mentioned something now. I want you to get a little controversial.
Yeah.
Because the MGM is building an arena, and they're charging for parking. And quite honestly, when I saw the arena going up, and I travel the Dean Martin Drive all the time, I was wondering myself how traffic is going to flow between Dean Martin and Las Vegas Boulevard. But now with the arena there, to me it looks like a big headache. I don't know. And now that there's no additional parking, you got to pay $10, and that's starting a lot of controversy.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think the good news is that at the South Point, we'll always have free parking, Ed. So It won't be a problem. We'll have plenty of it. It's going to be interesting, clearly. I mean, the urbanization of the city, right? Everything else. I mean, this is how it is in a lot of big cities. So we'll kind of see how it all plays out. But I think that is obviously the big question mark now for that venue. But it'll be great. I mean, they're going to have great, the MGM is the 8,000-pound gorilla, and they're already putting great programming in there, so it'll be a great destination.
And what do you hear about the hockey? Do you think that's going to happen?
I really feel like it will happen. Yeah. I really, really do. I mean, the right people are behind it, and the right financial people are behind it, and of course the MGM, they're the kings in our business right now.
Yeah, I already reserved my 2 tickets.
Awesome, I love it.
So let's talk about what's going on at the South Point, because the Equestrian Center is a gem in this town.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
I mean, every time I walk into the South Point, by the way, when I do walk into the South Point, and I'm there often, it's always crowded with locals. I mean, the local business there is just thriving, and there's such loyalty to the customers at the South Point. Yeah. But, I mean, you're wearing a cowboy hat today. Half the time I'm walking in there, 75% of the men are in cowboy hats and boots.
Right. Well, I tell you what, this year, 2016, our 10th year at the Equestrian Center, we'll do about 42 weeks of equestrian business. And I'll never forget the day when Michael Gaughan said that he wanted to build an equestrian center at his new hotel. And we immediately got on the phone and called all the major promoters in America and the major associations. And almost unanimously, all of them said, not sure people are going to go, not sure it's a good idea. We shared that information with Michael, and of course, Michael and his wife Paula, who is a big in the cutting horse industry and a power in her own right in that industry, said, "Well, we're going to do it anyway, so let's figure it out." So, and I tell you what, it was one of the most brilliant things he ever did. 42 weeks of equestrian events. Most of these events that are 4 and 5 days long, and really what they do is they drive hotel rooms. They drive bodies to our city. Not all to our property, all over the city.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really just been a great niche. And we have really become the nicest equestrian center in America, by far. We're not necessarily the biggest, but now we've built 2 more arenas. We have 3 arenas as part of our complex, 1,200 stalls, wash racks, 24-hour surveillance. I mean, you name it. Everything that you would need, we're there. We're the Four Seasons of the Equestrian Center world, no question.
The destination location for all equestrian matters going on in the United States, I would think.
Yeah.
As well as, NASCAR events you have,
Oh, yeah.
because Michael's family is involved with the NASCAR world.
Yep. We do a couple of big motorsports events a year, a couple BMX events. We have the world's largest archery event every year right there
Really?
at the South Point. And college basketball, I mean, Ed, we'll probably be busy this year about 50 weeks out of 52. So it's been a great run.
What are you most looking forward to this year, event-wise?
You know, we're going to bring in 7 new equestrian events this year. 4 of them pretty substantial, large events associated with major associations, the American Quarter Horse Association being the biggest. About 70% of our events are American Quarter Horse Association events. But we do tons of breed shows. We do about a dozen breed shows a year, the Arabians, the Peruvians, the saddlebreds, you name it. We do performance horse events, cutting events, reining events, rein cow horse events. And then we do plenty of spectator events, whether it's bull riding, PBR events, buck and bull sales, I mean, you name it. But we really love the equestrian events. We love them for a lot of reasons. Number one, they're just good people, they're good customers for our property, and they book hotel rooms.
Wow.
So,
And then this year, recently, you did a different type of event. You had Donald Trump over at the arena.
oh yeah.
Right? You had, 7,000 people showing up for that. Made national news, right? It was
Yeah.
on all the Fox, CNN, MSNBC. Everybody was covering it.
It was absolutely bananas.
How is that different, putting an event on like that compared to putting a typical equestrian event on?
You know, the good news with our staff, Ed, and our team is...
There's a joke there, by the way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right, exactly. The good thing about our team and our staff, Ed, is, our job is not necessarily to produce the events. Our job is to make sure that the venue's set up properly, that it's safe, that it's comfortable, that it's clean, that it has all of the things you need. So it really doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or, an equestrian event. So
Right.
a lot of the principles still apply. So.
Right, but there is, I mean, when you walk into to an event over at the South Point, I mean, the Cowboys and the Western crowd is, so well behaved, so well mannered. I would suspect that the Trump people are a little bit more excited and rambunctious.
Well, if you remember, he wanted to punch somebody in the face right there in the,
yes,
in the arena. So, no, they were fired up, but it was amazing the energy and the enthusiasm that he has going on, especially in a primary.
Right.
We had 1,000 people lined up at 8 in the morning for an 8 o'clock p.m. show. So there are obviously different challenges when it comes to those kinds of events, but we try to take care of our guests always in a first-class manner, whether they're horses or people.
Yeah.
So
there's a joke there too.
Something else there too.
So, but how does that work? So, does Donald Trump go and meet with Michael Gaughan and say, "Hey, I want to use the arena"?
Yeah, pretty much how
Yeah.
it works. Yeah, a lot of times Michael will field that first call, and then he'll send it our way, and then we just kind of take it from there. So, but I think Donald Trump is friends with Phil Ruffin,
Right.
Michael Gaughan. I mean, some of these guys are the last of the Mohicans in our town. And I'm very blessed to work for Michael and his family, and he really is one of the last of the Mohicans in Las Vegas.
Oh, and when you say that, I mean, this is one of the last hotels that is really family owned.
No, absolutely true, and I'm sure it will continue to be. There are plenty of Gaughans in the pipeline,
Right.
so to speak, and it really has been a blessing for all of us. We just, we talk about the equestrian business. A lot of people think that you can just, book these events and make them happen. But Michael's been cultivating this business for 40 years of his life,
Right.
and he's very big in that industry. Gold Coast was very big in that industry, Orleans, and now. So it really has been a lifelong culmination for him to do this. And Ed, honestly, with the square footage that we take up in that footprint, he probably would have been better off building a big convention center.
Right.
But his passion is in this industry, and his wife's passion, and we're blessed that he did it.
Any future plans to build any extensions or additions?
Well, we just built 2 more arenas. I think that might be it for a while, and then we built a $35 million bowling plaza. So we're big into bowling, big into horses, Ed. That's who we are.
And I remember when he built the South Point, everybody said at the time, boy, it's so far away, how is he ever going to do well there? He had just left Boyd Gaming, or made a deal with Boyd, and he got out of the Orleans and the other Boyd properties that he was running, and moved, kind of moved out in the middle of nowhere. Now it's not like that anymore.
Yeah,
The town
not
has
like
moved
that.
around you.
Yeah, no question about it. And, and I think it was great for our equestrian business to get started that way, being out there, because we have plenty of space for trailer parking, for livestock, for all the things we need to produce big time events.
So how long in advance do you have to actually schedule and start working on an event?
Ed, there are events right now that we have booked for 4 years from now. I mean, that's how long these, it's not like sort of the traditional arena business where a lot of these shows go on tour,
Right.
and they'll book them 8, 9, 10 months out. Our events, we're really trying to get ahead of 2, 3, even 4 years ahead of time.
And the niche that you have is a little bit, it's a lot different than what the MGM is doing at their arena
Oh, yeah.
and what some of the existing facilities do book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because our events, Ed, are one-of-a-kind, unique events. They are either in our venue or they're going to be in another venue. They don't go on tour. They don't bounce around. So if I do a big cutting horse event, it's in our venue. It's not going to go to Scottsdale tomorrow and Amarillo tomorrow. Now, there's other events there with different promoters and different people, but the booking window's a lot further out.
Do you do concerts and things like that? I remember when you were at the Orleans, you would do concerts and cheerleading events and basketball events and tournaments.
Yeah, back then at the Orleans and the other arenas in town, they have a consumer model. I mean, they want spectators, and that's sort of their business model. For us, Ed, we want participatory events that have participants that book hotel rooms. So that's really the types of events that we're going after, which is really a great niche for us. And the other venues do a great job with concerts and cheerleading and some of those other events, and certainly we can do them as well, but it's not our core business. Our core business is at Equestrian.
And is there a lot of good coordination with the Convention and Visitors Authority and the other venues in town? You all get together and try to...
Sure, you bet. In fact, Ed, there are several events we do each year that are really can be considered citywide events. It just so happens we have the only Equestrian Center that can handle those. So absolutely, Las Vegas events, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, we partner all the time with them.
And how do you feel about these other events that they're doing in the city? For younger people now, the Life is Beautiful, and the I forgot the event.
The Electric Daisy
Electric
Carnival.
Daisy Carnival, that type of thing. Yeah.
I spoke in the Nevada or the Governor's Commission on Tourism, and it was interesting because the two topics that were discussed the most was, of course, the stadium, which is very high profile, big topic, and the millennials. How do we attract the millennials to our city? And it's a big thing for a lot of properties. For us, we have a little bit different niche from there. We don't have the nightclubs. We don't have some of those kinds of amenities for the millennials. But we have Middle America. I mean, really, that's our niche. Is we're trying to go after Middle America to come to our place.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for sharing
Always
some of
great
this.
seeing you.
It's it's just an amazing facility. If you haven't been over at the Equestrian Center or over at the arena facilities over at the South Point, go check it out. I mean, everybody's as friendly as could be over there, and it's different, and it's a different feel. It's like you get you transgress out of Las Vegas into a different world. Yeah. We're going to go from equestrian to Broadway, opera, music, with Myron Martin. We're going to talk about what's going on at the Smith Center. And you and Myron go back quite a while, huh?
Another Texas boy. We love Myron.
Okay.
Good man.
We'll be back with Myron Martin in the Smith Center.